Okay, so let's have a look at what does October want to say to us here in the cards. It's like a personal reading. You could think of it as a personal reading. There we go. Sorry, just trying to get the best look so we can really pay attention to the cards. All right. Oh boy. That's in our ego self. So that's the House of Aries. I'll just say it once as I'm going, and I won't repeat because the zodiac spread isn't necessarily just about the zodiac signs. Okay. If you happen to know astrology, great. You'll be able to read this a lot. You know, like when you listen, you'll be able to get more out of it. But I'm using those placements for my reading. Okay. But it's not about them. This isn't, this isn't astrology. Okay. Just so you know. So I don't waste a whole bunch of time talking about what placements these are. I just talk about what am I getting. Okay, so that's how I'm going to read it. But there's the House of Aries, the first house, the second house. These are called houses, the placements. Okay, is the House of Taurus, Aries being your ego self and how you're coming into the month. Okay, what mood are we in? And this is what are we valuing? Where do we place our value? And then this card here is the House of Gemini, so the third house of Gemini. How are we thinking and speaking, therefore manifesting and creating, right? So our thoughts and words create what happens, okay? And then here we've got the House of Cancer, which is our home base. And that can mean lots of things. What grounds you? What do you feel about your literal home? Are you at home in yourself? You know, there's a lot of ways you could look at that. Depends on the personality. And that's the fifth house of Leo. So it's about incoming situations, new people coming in. It's a flow, and all of a sudden, this is all very personal, and all of a sudden, this side going up and around, this gets way out in the world, and this is more like people we're dealing with on a personal level. But this is really personal to us and how we're creating. Okay, so those are just like there's layers and layers and layers to this, and that's what helps the reader read. So when I teach this, I take 8 weeks to teach that. Okay, and I also have my lessons up on the academy, and a person, of course, we just do it in like, I did about 3 sessions, I think, to get through the zodiac. But I mean, you'd probably, if you took those classes, you would have had to watch it quite a few times. That's what I would imagine, because when I actually taught it in person, it took 8 weeks to get through the zodiac. Anyway, here we are, 4th house, 5th house, incoming people, siblings. How are we feeling about family? How are we feeling about new connections, romantically, intimately, that sort of thing, right? Leo's romance, right? But it's also about family, children, creativity, that sort of thing. Okay, so it is very open. This one's very open to what's flowing in towards us. And then this one across, like all of the ones across from here are going to help us speak about these, okay? Ace of Cups, that's our 4th house, or sorry, that's the 4th, that's the 6th, 5th, 6th, yeah. 6th is the house of Virgo. Is that true? Yeah, 5th. Yeah, the house of Virgo. So it's your everyday life and how your day-to-day life is looking or feeling. What to expect, like right away in the reading. Like, it's not way down the future, it's right now. And also the mood, I guess, around you and how you're feeling daily and towards your work, if you're working other than for yourself. Okay, what do you feel about your career or work or whatever? Daily routines, the daily grind. But it can also be about your health. or issues around health, especially when we're looking at a large group of people. Are there going to be big health scares? Are there going to be lockdowns for health? That would show up here. Okay. And of course, in the 12th house would help clarify it. So yeah, the opposite houses, so 6 and 12, those are opposite. They help you read the card. And we lay down 12 cards because there's 12 signs in the zodiac. Okay, that's how we get the idea of 12. Okay, so that's 6. Now that's the 7th house of Libra. So the house of really important relationships, the house of marriages, the house of big agreements together with others. Could be karmic agreements. I mean, I'm in a big karmic agreement, or I was, with that friend that I was telling you guys about, there's a big, it's like a breakup. And they're moving on, even though they just built a house next door. Like it's a wild situation. Anyway, but they're like, the crazy thing is, they're totally liberal and incredibly like exactly like what we've been saying is happening to all those Democrats and liberals out there and people of that kind of persuasion, woke. Okay, like, yeah, they're all kind of losing it. I hope they find it again, but they're losing it. Okay, so anyway, so that's the house of those kind of relationships. Like, if you're in a marriage, if you're in a friendship that feels like it's really karmic, if you're in a like really important heavy duty relationship. Some people are in really heavy duty relationships with their parents, with their children, do you know what I mean? Like, of course, we always love our kids. The kids come in here, but this could be like when you have a particular karmic connection with one of them, or one of your parents, or somebody in your life, right? And or literally your marriages. Like if you're married, that is like a big commitment, right? Okay, so this is the 8th house of like it goes along with the 2nd house and it helps to read it. So Taurus across from Scorpio. So the house of Scorpio. So deaths, rebirths, your ideas about death. How do you feel about dying? How do you feel about spirituality? How huge things, massive revelations. How are you feeling about lots of different things in that, but all the heavy hitters like life, death, taxes. That's the joke that goes with that house: life, death, taxes, and yeah. Anyway, but I think it's deeper than that. It's more spiritual. How do you feel about where you're at, and spiritually, where do you sit? How do you feel about like the way the world's set up? Which it's set up that we do die, and usually around 60, 70, 80, 90 years old, like depends. But lately it's been way earlier for people. I've had 3 people around me in the last couple of years die in their 50s. So absolutely insane, right? We used to think 90. We were thinking we were getting, hang on, I'm going to sneeze. Hang on. Woo, that was a good sneezes, or I don't know, really good sometimes. Okay. So, yeah, so that's the house of Scorpio. This is the house of Sagittarius. So it's your philosophies and how do you feel about travel? Are you traveling? Do you put a lot of emphasis on people and places far away? Personal philosophies, are they changing? 10th house of Capricorn, career. But in this, the way I read this for a community of people, it's where do we find ourselves by this time next year? It kind of gives us a little hint at what's it going to be feeling like this time next year. And then this would be the 11th house of Aquarius. 12th house of Pisces. Deep secrets. So Aquarius is how you're feeling about friends, tribe, the groups you're in. How important are they? Are you open to new incoming friendships and relationships? How are you reacting to your friends, your relatives, how are you behaving to this house, which is all about incoming energies? How do you feel about those incoming, whatever's going on here? How do you feel about it? Okay. And then this house is the 12th, which is like a big message from your higher self. Interesting. I'm going to start with this one because I love it, and I love it how beautifully it's aspected. So this card is from your higher self message for everybody, and it's saying, look at new horizons. Everything out there that you're seeing right now the whole terrain will look different. Okay, your whole world is changing. Your whole world is changing. You're in all new territory. With your governments are all going to change. Your money system's all going to change. Your friend circles, they're already changing. Everything's changing, and even what you thought was your history. So you're going to need to learn to be flexible and open-hearted and move with it. Like, this is very flexible because you read this one across from it. So this is in the 6th house, and it's saying we're going to have to be really open to all new everything. Open-hearted to all new everything. And we'll have to be very creative in our approach, because none of the old ways of doing things, none of the ways we did religion, none of the ways we did finance, none of the ways we did government. Like, we've been literally a nanny state all over the world. And it's the worst kind of governance, because you have no real rights and you're completely at the mercy of, right? And we're moving into some of us have already claimed, I've long claimed being a sovereign being. I barely interact with officialdom, as little as possible, and with absolutely as little input from me. I don't give them almost no energy. Okay, it's almost like I'm under the radar because of that. Yeah, and it feels great, by the way. Okay, but a lot of us have learned to do that in 5 years, but a lot more people are going to need to learn that. Okay, it's huge. Even in this community, there's a lot of people still hanging on to their day jobs, and everything's going to change. If you're in a big corporation and it was run by a bunch of deep staters and or woke liberal types and or Democrat types and or there's those types all over the world. Okay, I'm just using those words so you know what I'm talking about. Those companies aren't going to really, going forward, they're not going to exist, or they're going to have to change their ways to be in the new world. Okay, the world is changing, and it's not going to have room for woke and nonsensical silliness and all of those agendas that were just meant to disempower. It's only for empowered people that want to evolve going forward. So if your company or what you work for doesn't support that, it won't exist. Okay, you got to start thinking, what am I going to do then? Find a way to use your talents and abilities, which you were put on the earth. That's what you were trying to do here. We're all trying to experience that. You don't just come down all the way to the earth plane here, birth out of a physical human female, okay, and think it's just going to be like you're just going to hide in some company and not interact too much. No. We're here to experience stuff, grow, learn, experience for ourselves. And people have, like, a lot of people have just shut off that way. And I know this community, I'm just preaching to the choir here, but you know what I'm talking about, guys, right? Okay, so that card is like, we're going in new territory. We're going to need to be creative and open-minded to really go there successfully. Okay, so the card reading is already assuming that things have crashed. Like, so I'm thinking it's already been crashing, you guys. Come on. We had actual Trump speak out in that generals meeting. And turns out a lot of those generals were AI, of course, right? I mean, there might have been 10 real generals at the meeting. You know what I'm saying? And they really, the private stuff they were saying to those 10 that might have been at the meeting there, and all the rest were AI and probably a lot of them Gitmo'd, and they just put them up there on the screen. So maybe you could pick out the ones that have already been fired. Oh my goodness, just the psyops are just off the charts. But anyway, he said he was the 45th, 46th, and 47th. Yeah, he said that. He spoke it out, you guys. Like, he's been speaking out the truths. It's unbelievable. Anyway, so yeah, nothing but like the cards were already assuming the dust settled on like the crashing of the way things were, and we're already in new territory. So I guess we just need to claim it and assume the position, and it'll be a lot less hurtful and or gut punching. If you're still thinking when the money system crashes, or the banks crash, or some of them do, or your dollar's worth nothing, all of a sudden you find out, like what happened in, where was it? I can't remember now, but it's Vietnam, I think, or something, like where they woke up and all their bank accounts were closed down because they got digital ID, got put through in the government, the fake government that they have right now. And so they're using Vietnam. That's what I think, because all of these governments are capitulated, and they're showing you, what does that look like? It looks like, so it's probably absolute chaos there, because all these people who didn't sign on to digital ID because they're smart enough to know that's not going to get them anywhere. Okay, all of them got their bank accounts wiped. Okay, so things like that would have been all over the world, and we'd all been looking at a life with just no rights unless we sign on to these things, and basically sign ourselves and all our generations away. All our freedoms, literally sign it away, even though it's secretly been taken away from us. We would be signing it away if we're going on for digital ID. And I feel like the White Hat Alliance has just been showing us that with examples like what happened in Vietnam. But anyway, correct me if I got the country wrong that it happened in. So they're taking these countries and highlighting these things. And the UK right now is being highlighted. And I think they might be the first ones. Maybe Starmer will be the first one to go down in flames. And I'm thinking this month, as far as I'm concerned, they can all go down this month. But I don't believe any of them are real anyway, guys. Like, when I look at it, the cards say, yeah, that already happened. We're just watching the rerun. Yeah. Anyway, okay, so we've got the Magician there. That's how we came into this reading. So we come into the month, and what the Magician, we're a lot wiser about psyops than we were 5 years ago. We're really sharpened up here, okay? And we're ready for anything. The Magician as an archetype, ready for anything. We're agile and ready for anything, and we're waiting, and we're just like, yep, okay, we're ready, and we're communicating a lot. Okay, so there's probably a lot of us getting online and putting things out, whether it's videos or just memes or just sharing things, right? People are really active right now. And see that card, that's the one that made me think we're really active. Okay, and a lot of communicating is going on. And I feel like as the month goes on, we'll likely be asked a lot of questions. I feel like some of those normies out there, and I'm just going to use the word normies. I'm giving up on trying to not use it. And everyone's telling me in the comments, use it, just use it. I'm going to do it. And I'm not going to feel bad about it. But see that 8 of Wands there? I feel like a lot of people are going to come looking for us, because they know we've been talking about this stuff. They know we've been into it. They know we know more than they do. And they're going to come looking for us this month as the shit hits the fan. Okay. Yeah, it's going to be awesome. Okay. I can't wait. Look at this sun here. This is financial. Things will get worrisome. But it only creates, it's only going to put in place something way better. So I think the money, this is pretty clear here. The finances is the big change this month, really. Everything seems to lead to the fact that something's going to come into play that's going to be a way better system. But because that's a major arcana, it could take time for us to see that. Before we see it and that it's way better, a lot of people are going to feel like, because it'll look like the dollar crashes or banks close or whatever, however they spin it. Okay, they're going to do something. Okay, they got it planned. They've been planning it for a long time. However it is, I don't think it'll be for a long time, but there's going to be discomfort. So just so you know, and it'll get worrisome. Okay, but only if you decide to be worried about it, and only if you aren't agile. Discomfort to me is like, just be prepared and know that that's the case, and kind of take it in your stride, right? Instead of like, oh, you know what I mean? Oh my goodness, I'm going to be discomfortable. Who cares? We've been uncomfortable for years now. Okay, slavery is not very comfortable. Okay, just remember what we're getting out of it. Okay, like it's labor pains, so they're painful, but you get a baby out of it. And a lifetime of, well, in my case, I became really great, almost like best friends with my daughter. I just love her. But I mean, it didn't start out that way. We didn't even get each other. When she was just a tiny baby, she was looking at me like, who is this lady? And I was like, she doesn't look like I thought she'd, like, I didn't recognize her as that's my child. Yeah, so I know people say, oh yeah, you just fall in love, right? No, it doesn't happen like that. It was like weird, right? But fantastically grew into one of the best connections with a female in my whole life. Like, she's a spectacular woman. I just love her, young woman. But anyway, I'm saying here, I guess what I'm saying is, it's going to be uncomfortable, like labor pains. But you have to focus on the prize, which may not fully show up this month, but it's coming. Okay. It's coming. So the better times financially, and more abundance and ability to abundance and a better life is coming. And that may not come in the form of physical, literal cash, because remember, cash is demonic anyway. You know what I'm saying? Actual paper cash, right? They're the ones that created that system. It's going to be a new kind of system, and we'll have valuable things or properties, and or things will be different. What we value will be different. Okay, so we'll have to maybe rethink and really get clear on what it is we're trying to manifest. Because remember, we're getting better at manifesting. Okay, so better things are coming, but it'll get rocky first. Let's say that. So here's the third house, Gemini. What are we creating verbally, mentally, that actually creates our future? Okay, this guy's looking out at the world. He has the world in his hand, and he's looking out between these two wands, but he's safely on a deck of some kind. When you look at this, he's in the safety of his own castle. Okay, so he's in a safe place. Okay, so we're looking from a safe place out there at just how crazy the world's getting here. Okay, I feel like we're going to be viewing a lot of people going through hardship and even being judged. Okay, so that's, maybe we're going to see arrests. Maybe we're going to see evidence that arrests happened in the past. Maybe evidence that tribunals happened. We're going to see evidence of hard justice. This is the hard kind. She wields that sword. She's not as nice as the King of Swords. He's fair and balanced. She's not balanced. She's like looking for vengeance even. She can be really hard to work with. Okay, and I feel like we're going to see evidence that that's been going on. And frankly, we need it. This community needs to see that, because we've been seeing a lot of the disgusting things the deep state and dark cult have been up to, and we need to see somebody pay for some of that. It's just disgusting what they've been doing to children and humans and all of us, frankly, and each other, their own kids, and it's just disgusting, right? They really can't. The world won't hold them anymore. The energies will not hold here, okay, because it's just not conducive, okay, to the new world we're all creating. Okay, so yeah. I think we'll see some evidence. And then here now, so the 4th house, this is the house of Cancer, and it's about where you live. And I always think of it as where you feel comfortable. Do you feel comfortable in yourself? Well, this guy's pretty comfortable, okay? And he's living in luxury here, okay? And so our homes, let's say this, and where we live, find comfort, and a lot of us will find comfort in our work that we've done, self-love work, in the work we've done to take good care of ourselves, okay? Whether that's emotional, physical, hopefully it's all of these things. In your friendships, like put yourself first and treat yourself like one of your best friends. Okay, I feel like that'll come in really handy if you're doing that. Okay, because of the kind of things that are coming and how rough it'll be sometimes this month and going forward, I feel like this will be really important to ground in self-love and be kind to yourself and be generous with yourself. Okay, and that helps you be generous to others. But first, take care of yourself so you got the wherewithal, okay, and the energy to, the more kind you are to yourself, the better you'll be to others. That's just how it works, okay? Okay, so yeah, if you're not giving to yourself, you will be relentlessly ungiving to others as well. Okay, so how you treat yourself reflects out there. So treat yourself as good as you're treating others. Yeah. Okay, so here we've got, and then the Hanged Man across from it. So that's the 10th house, and it kind of drops us a year from now. The Hanged Man, okay. We're going to become more enlightened. So by this time next year, we're more enlightened, and we realize that the hardships and the place we put ourselves in is worth it. So we're going to be reflecting on the hardships of the last 5 or 6 years. Remember, this is this time next year. And we're going to think that was worth it. And we come out of that stance more enlightened. So we're going to be wiser, more evolved, more enlightened, and finally let ourselves off the hook there. So I feel like it won't be as hard next year. Oh, good. Oh, good. All right. So this is the 5th house of Leo, and it means a lot of things, including creativity and creative projects and incoming opportunities and stuff like that. And we've got the 2 of Swords. Actually, we're taking a break from. So even though I feel like October's going to be so busy emotionally, taking us on roller coasters and with things crashing and trying to navigate and all the crazy, yeah, I was almost going to say libtards, but yeah. Sorry, I feel like saying that. Yes, I'm going to say it. Libtards and people like that, just woke crazy, okay, to a crescendo just before, it all becomes really, really obvious that was such an agenda, and they're just, a lot of people are going to feel foolish. And I feel like we're going to need to maybe close the doors a little to group activities, because that card says maybe October is not a time to join new groups, let new people in your group, keep a little close to the chest in October, friendship wise, and yeah, take lots of time to yourself. Yeah. Even if new people want to come into your circle, really vet them really well and make them wait a bit before you let them in. Watch who they really are first. Okay, so here we've got the Ace of Cups. So that's the House of Health. We talked about that. I feel like there's a lot of ability to heal ourselves through joy and feeling the abundance we know we're coming into. Even though we won't necessarily see it this month, we're going to get a lot closer to knowing it's going to come. I feel like we're going to get true evidence that it's coming to us. Okay, so I feel like a really good idea would be to already feel the joy and thankfulness for it, because that brings things faster. It also ensures that they come. So yeah, get in that place. It's a good idea. it'll bring that new world we're trying to create, because we are the ones visualizing it, and it'll we're going to help create it. Okay, so here's the 7th house. So lots and lots of people leaving and others coming. Lots of movement and migration from friendships, relationships, people moving around in and out of big relationships and big karmic. We could see a real leaving and people trying to knock at the door. But don't forget, October might not be the time to let the new people in. So even if let them go, but maybe really make them wait at the door. Wait till October's over before you let any new ones in. That's kind of how it's looking there. Yeah, let them all go, and then shut the door for a while and take a break, and then think about it again in November. Okay, so here we've got, this is the 8th house of Scorpio. We talked a little bit about that. There's going to be some stressful times around people's beliefs, their beliefs about death, their beliefs about life, death, all the big beliefs, spirituality. There's a lot of stressful times around people's spiritual practices. We're going to be really looking at, were we fooled? I think a lot of this community's already been doing that and done that, or did that years ago maybe, but some of you will know what I'm talking about. But out in the world, this will be happening a lot. Lots of stress around just people trying to re-establish themselves spiritually, because a lot of upheaval around it. Okay, but this is interesting. Also, a lot of stress when people find out what's been done to children and babies. I feel like that's we've already gone through that stress, but just imagine some of your normie friends when it really hits them in the face that's been going on. And I've been saying that for a long time, but I'll say it again. Okay, so this is we talked about it a little bit already, but that's the 9th house. So philosophies. Okay, we're going to get really direct and mouthy about ours, by the way. We go from a safe place, and I think by the end of the month and going into November, we're going to be mouthy about it. And I know I will be for sure. I can't wait to rub a few people's noses in some things. I got to tell you, you know what? You can be nice and everything, and I know it's more evolved to be in everything, but every once in a while, you got to let your ego strut. And I'll definitely be, okay, you need to hear this. So it's once I feel like all the cats are out of the bag, and I feel like a lot of us might be like, do you remember when I said, do you remember? Yeah, I don't think we should stay in that place for long, but I think a little bit of that might be good for the soul. You know what I'm saying? Okay, yeah, it's going to be time to really and also really calling people up on their shit. Okay, do you remember when you were doing this to me? And now look, and now we know that, blah, 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 right? It's going to be interesting, all the exchanges, especially I'm looking real forward to a few different juicy exchanges with certain family members. Anyway, okay, carrying on. Okay, so yeah, this is that 10th house. We talked about that, where we're going. I think people will really be sacrificing what was their career. So again, like I was saying about careers, if you're working for anything connected to deep state, cult, enslaved past, which is most jobs, not the one I've been doing my whole life, but most jobs. Okay, if you got a job or a career, like in medicine or in the health services, or so many of them are going to have to get rethought. And a lot of people are going to have to sacrifice and take some time to think about what are they going to do going forward. I'm hoping that this community already thought about those things, but if you haven't, you better start thinking about it. Okay, so then we looked at that 2 of Swords. So be leery of new people coming into your group and tribe, as it were, and or joining groups and tribes. Be leery and wait out wait out October. Yeah. And also be very discerning about travel in October. Okay. And you'll need to have really good boundaries out in the world if you're traveling amongst strangers. So you're in places where you don't know anybody or not too many people. Have really good boundaries. That woman has really good boundaries. And I forgot to mention, this is also the travel house, the house of Sag. So travel. And yeah, you can travel in October, it looks like, but be discerning. Check in with your intuition on it, the timing and everything, and also have really good boundaries out there, because there's going to be a lot of crazy, right? People going a little, I've seen it already. It started already. Okay, so then here we've got, so the deep unconscious message, the Pisces message, is looking forward. Start creating what your world's going to look like going forward. Yeah. Okay, so this one's right in the middle. I always pull that 13th card. Okay, and that's just right now overview for everybody, and it's the 7 of Swords. So the 7 of Swords, and I feel like it's saying be willing to be strategic. Okay, so be agile this month, mentally, verbally agile, and ready to move in different directions, because there's a lot of things happening, and they could happen fast and all at once. So we're going to need to be kind of, it's not a month to get a lot of sleep and rest, unfortunately, and be ready to really be watching everything. And this is a day or a month to keep your eyes on the ball and be awake and aware, watching the videos and doing the things. It's not a sleepy month. Okay. So, no. Okay, guys, I'm sending you all ravens. I love you all, and take so much care going forward into October. Okay. We're in this together. We're going to get through this. Bye-bye.
Right here, going into 2025.
2 5s in a row here. So we start out with the 5 of Swords. And I think we started out, last time we did one, the same card here. Very same card in the same place. So the 5 of Swords to me can be even the war we're in, right? So we're in the good versus evil war. We're in the, information war, all of those ways we can talk about the war we're in that a lot of people don't even realize we're in. Right? Okay, so there's that brought us to, this is the present moment. I'll just do that. Yeah, we're working with a little less space because I got a new phone and I haven't figured out how to adjust the space yet, but we'll figure it out. We've got the 5 of Pentacles in the right now. Now, this could be where maybe there's some discontent going on around, even the, like what the truthers, some of them are talking about, what Trump isn't delivering versus what he said he would, yet he is delivering all kinds of things. The letdowns around the, JFK even senior files weren't as, didn't have that smoking gun some people were looking for, but, this could just be some setbacks, and where we could find some people grumbling about, well, there's been no literal arrests yet. That would be nice to see, right?
Right.
It'd be really nice to see, the truth about these things out in the open for everybody to know. Be nice to have the mainstream media on board with our truth. That would be really fun, right? Okay, so I feel like that might be what that's all about as we go into this new year, because it is like New Year's, really. Okay, so here we've got the Chariot. The Chariot is fast and furious, kind of reckless, can feel reckless. I've felt this a few times this year already, where the energy speeds up and all of a sudden it's like it feels almost out of control. So this card's, I'm welcoming that energy. Okay, and I think a lot of people are, but this is the buckle up card. Okay, so this is the next thing that happens. That's a buckle up. Fast and furious changes that all of a sudden we get way ahead of where these 2 5s feel.
Right.
Okay, the hidden influence is the Knight of Cups. That's a follow your heart card. It can be a little bit fickle though. Okay, so it to me, it means there's still a lot of things up in the air around timing. Okay, I feel like there's still a lot of things counting on other things to happen first. So the whole 5D chess thing that we talk about a lot, right? So that might be like it's reminding us that there's still things that have to go in a sequence, and it might feel like things aren't happening exactly when you thought they would. Even though we're going to have this really big speeded up energy, there still might be periods of time in the year, because we're talking about the whole year, where we feel like, it's not where we wanted it to be. Okay, so now here's two cards to consider. We've got the 7 of Cups, which is like just the depth of depravity that we're mucking through. This could be literally like the swamp that gets talked about. And when Trump first started, he was going to drain the swamp. And I feel like this is what we're talking about. We're in really deep in the muck of what's been going on. Even these files that got released, JFK senior files, actually may not have one smoking gun, but they've got some deep muck in there to muck through. And it's a lot to go through. So I feel like that's maybe, and if those Epstein files come out, or when they do, I feel like it's going to be the same. There's deep information in these things, but they need decoding. Right. And they need good people, good truthers on it. Definitely we don't want it in the hands of anybody but our trusted community people that are looking into these things properly, right? So here we've got the 2 of Wands here. So it's just reminding us how deep the muck is. But this is a safe card. So from a safe distance, we're looking at, so this feels to me like we're beyond this being able to take us down as a humanity. We're beyond that. We're safe. We're above and looking at it. But in retrospect, we're going to look through this. And that's what's been going on all of these years, really. So many things have just shown us how things got to where they got and how we ended up with these captured governments. So many things are just showing us what might have already happened, like when Trump spotlights things, or the Trump brand spotlights things, right? They spotlight what happened in the Gaza Strip as if it's happening, but I feel like some of it already happened, and spotlighting the war in Ukraine and talking about it. But I feel like a lot of that's already been sealed deals, like the cards say a lot of this stuff's been done. So that might be what that's talking about. We have some distance from this, but we do still have to all look at it, just so we never go back here again, recreate that. Now we've got the Lovers here, the near future outcome. So the Lovers, so by this time, like next year, because we looked at it as a year, we've got the Lovers, a whole new form of government, and a lot of our officialdom looks like it's been recreated. And we may be really trying to sort out what that'll look like. We're going to have to come together in groups and discuss, because there's a balancing act going on here where we have to really discuss how we want things to be. It's very much a Libran card. So we could be just really diplomatically trying to decide going forward, how do we rebuild all of these structures that right now we're watching the Trump brand tear down. Like he just signed the orders for the education system to be put in the hands of all the states individually. So the overview way it's been held or, like operated is no longer. It's that they're taking it down, or they're taking lots of things down. And I feel like that in the US for sure, but I think all over the world, we're all going to be in this shape where we're looking at and deciding how we want going forward to be governed.
That's fascinating. So it's not just Canada that's going to be seeing a new constitution. It looks like the transformation is also underway here in a big way in the United States and perhaps even across the world. What are the bottom 2 over clarifiers, Janine?
So we've got the 7 of, so it's interesting, 3 5s. This is the 5 of wands. So we've got all 3 of 4 5s. So that's really interesting. 3 of 4. There's only 4 5s in the deck. We've got 3 of them. And these are frustrating cards, and they're about setbacks. They can also be about the war coming out in the public. So I feel like this card next to the star, we're going to see some contention energy between aliens, good and bad. And we could literally see it in our skies or above us, and or maybe even on the ground or underground. And we've already seen some of that. I feel like some of the things we've experienced, we've been watching that according to the cards, but these 2 below sum it up and say that's going to be a big part of this as well.
Wow. You've been getting that quite a bit also in the last couple of months. And of course, it's still showing up in Cliff High's data. It seems that we've had a small reprieve on the UFO file. It seems that we've been concentrating on other stuff. It's not to say that it's not happening, but it hasn't been percolating as much to the top here. Of course, we have so many breaking news on a daily basis. Can you maybe do a clarifier on the ET front? When does that start picking up again in a big way in mainstream news and perhaps in our daily lives here, just looking up at the sky and realizing for ourselves that, whoa, things are very different here. We are indeed in a woo beginning. Janine.
7th month here, maybe
7th month.
July.
There's a big radar blip in July on Cliff High's data as well. So it seems that there's stuff economically speaking, and now also the ETs in the mix for all of this. So crazy 2025 in store for us. Big transformational changes. Of course, that's what the Beyond Mystic conference was all about, the alchemy, the change and the power of alchemy moving into this new world. And of course, our financial changes happening and what it meant to become a new human. That was the 3-pronged approach here to our keynote speeches for the weekend. Guys, if you were at the conference on Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday night of last week, let us know in the live chat how the energies treated you. What was your biggest takeaway? Perhaps you've met your soul counterparts throughout the weekend. Let me know. I'm curious to see here if you guys are in the live chat what your experience was in person in Ottawa. And before we go too far, there was one person there in Ottawa also. She's joining us now, of course. She was leading through some amazing breathwork workshops, as well as the DNA Sacred Travel workshop during the weekend. Of course, it's the one and only Sylvia. Sylvia, welcome back to the show. How are you? Thank you for being here.
Oh my goodness. Thank you for having me, and happy birthday.
Thank you, Sylvia. How's it going?
I'm just landing back. Hi, Janine. I am literally just reintegrating, landing back, coming off the high.
It very much feels like a whole new dimension after that ride too. We had to recalibrate to everything. Did you get that feeling on Monday morning as well?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. It was like truly, it just felt like a massive upgrade.
Right.
It really did. It was really beautiful. So yeah, it was amazing. Just like the energy in the room. Even when I went up just to do that first talk, I was like, whoa. It's just like the energy was just so potent. So it was just so beautiful to experience and meet so many lovely people. So
I have to say, Sarah and I have done work with you before. You've helped us through some guided meditation, and that was absolutely spectacular, I have to say. But seeing you walk up on stage in your full divine feminine priestess role that you have, all of that energy that you were exuding, and all of the comments I got throughout the weekend of you here, not just at the breathwork thing, but also for your sacred travel seminar, I think really brought the audience to a brand new level of understanding of how powerful you actually are, the depth of knowledge that you have. And I've got tons of emails also asking about your upcoming Egypt trip. A lot of people are excited about that. But I wanted to ask you, you've changed everybody this weekend, including Janine and I, really seeing you step up there. What was your biggest takeaway, and what perhaps did the audience and the energy of the conference give back to you? How did it change you personally, Sylvia?
My goodness. First of all, JC, thank you so much for those kind words. They're like really big, and they're like, woo. Thank you. That's really kind. Man, like it was just like the reciprocity of the energetics, like as I was doing, my thing, and the depth of trust that people actually gave me
That's a
was
good point.
so sacred.
Right.
And I was just ever so grateful. And I was humble before, and I was even more humbled after. It was just like, wow, it was amazing. But I did feel definitely like, it's like I took all of this, I was able to really kind of navigate the energy and take it all in and like bring it through literally my body in a way that I had never really done before in such a large audience. It's one thing to be online and speak to like everybody out there online, but it's another thing to have all that energy in the room and like the breath that's moving together and the emotions that are moving together. And it was just such a beautiful collective networking. And it was just such a gift that like everybody even offered me just to have their presence and to be able to go through what we went through. And then so much of the feedback that was coming back to me after, it just showed me that you can make such a beautiful impact at it's one thing to work one-on-one, which is beautiful. And I love that. But then it's like, wow, this actually showed me that I can be in a room with like 100 people and go through like a breath work and move 100 people. And that was just like, I'd never really fully experienced it to that degree before. So that was just really beautiful. And the opportunity was beautiful to be able to do that. So
a lot of people are saying you had a lot of them crying during both of your sessions. Thank you, everyone, for all those beautiful comments and kind words towards Sylvia. Now, Sylvia, you've been going through your own transformation the last number of years. I've had you on the show before explaining how you had left the matrix of control and were rebooting here in this new woo economy, but in this new woo territory, generally speaking. And throughout the weekend, Janine and I shared how doing that process is absolutely difficult, and it's a very lonesome path. Your only enemy really is yourself and your own fears. And we were faced with many, many challenges during that transformation process. Being on stage there and receiving that energy from the audience members and that love, did you finally got the aha, I'm finally on the right track, I've arrived feeling?
Ugh.
Can you share that with the audience?
Like, I'm getting emotional now. Like, sorry guys, those of you who saw my speech saw how emotional I got on stage, but truly, I used the word upgrade before, and for me, okay, I gotta say this. Here's the answer to this question. Okay, I gotta say this. What was so incredible, and it was like karma to dharma. Okay, it truly was this like 3-day path of like karma to dharma, where we're staying at the hotel. And those of you who were able to be at the hotel, like we're in downtown Ottawa. And at one point I'm looking outside the room window, right? And I'm looking over Parliament Hill. And I'm like, this is wild. Why? Because 13 years ago, I was in a police car on Parliament Hill, patrolling the grounds of Parliament Hill, as part of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. That was 13 years ago, maybe even 14 years ago. And then as I did my healing journey, and I was walking my path, it brought me to leaving the RCMP. And then what happened on Parliament Hill just 5 years ago, right? Or 4 years ago with the Freedom Convoy. And I was part of that too.
Mm-hmm.
And now I was in this room getting ready to go and be on stage, right? And give this talk on like sacred travel and all of this stuff that I've like really come into. And it was as if I was looking back upon that entire karmic path, stepping literally just in a few hours into Dharma. And so when I literally got on that stage, I was like, by the way, scared shitless. Like I really want to say that. Okay, like you can throw me out of a plane and you can, but stepping on a stage to literally be an open channel like I truly didn't have any speech prepared. I was just like, I'm going to channel what's on my heart and speak to what I know, right? And I was scared shitless to do it. But then like I got up there, and when I got through the emotions and my body was actually able to hold that energy, right? It takes a lot. Like I've been doing extra grounding and extra nervous system work just to get on that stage.
Right.
Then when I did that and everything moved through, and I could feel the energy in the room like that. It was just like, wow, I'm here, and I'm just starting, right? So it was just beautiful. It was really beautiful to see that.
It was full circle on your whole journey here, and that's why Ottawa was important to me also to have this conference. I'm sure it was for you as well, as you said, very, very apropos, on the nose in terms of energies and kind of giving it back. It's like, aha, here I am. Where are you guys today, right? There's a big difference in energies playing. Janine, you're laughing there as well. But let me ask you one last question here, in terms of this transformation, moving into your role that you're meant to be, but also the example that you're now showing the rest of your family, including your beautiful 2 young daughters who were helping out as volunteers. Thank you to both of them. Of course, how lovely they were, and how so professional they were, and how, I have to say, old soul they were for such a young children. How do you feel about sharing this experience with them also here, the youngest attendees of the conference? And of course, Tony, your husband, on the screen there in the picture as well. What did that mean to you, Sylvia?
Like the world. Like it was just the fact that I can be doing what I love to do, and my children witness like literally the fruits of that kind of sacred labor, right?
Yeah.
And that they're actually part of it, and they're witnessing not just my talk, but like the talks, like all of the talks, and like all of the like missioned people, and just being in that environment for them was truly like, it's gonna code them, right, as they grow. And yeah, I was just so proud of them. I was so proud of them. I thought they were gonna like be ripping their hair out at each other. I was like, please don't argue this weekend, you know. But no, they did so well, and I'm happy. Thank you, you know, even just for giving them that opportunity to volunteer, and yeah.
Also, Sarah said they weren't just volunteering; they were proactively fixing problems and coming to Sarah. Sarah, we have a problem over here, but my sister and I have talked about it, and we think you can do this and this to fix it. What would you like us to do? And Sarah was like, "Wow, you guys are amazing!" Oh my God, thank you for that, Sylvia. Janine, any words for Sylvia as well? You've experienced her, like I said, many times here on screen. We've done many interviews with her, but seeing her walk on stage into that full power over that weekend, what would you like to share with her here tonight as we celebrate looking back here at the conference?
Yeah, it was beautiful to watch. It was beautiful. You know, like you can talk to people online. Like I've never met you, Sylvia, and like in person, and meeting you in person is really different than just seeing you on a screen, right? It like your energy could fill that room, that you like, and you shone up there. It was fun to watch. Like it was fun to watch the radiance, and the divine feminine absolutely channeled through, and it was just beautiful.
Thank you, Janine. Thank you, Sylvia. Sylvia, you're more than welcome to stay on if you like. Thank you for sure for coming on and sharing with us some of your thoughts of the conference. I have on the screen also now, just joining us in the live chat, the one and only Carla from Ascension Organites. She was joining us, of course, throughout the weekend with her lovely husband, Tony, who did an amazing job also helping her at the booth. Carla, welcome back to the show. How are you doing?
Hi, everybody. Happy birthday, JC.
Thank you, Carla. How are you feeling, Carla? Have you integrated all of these crazy energies over the last couple of days?
I have. I've been exhausted. We've been sleeping a lot and catching up. It was an amazing, amazing weekend, and an amazing experience.
And what would you say was your biggest takeaway? It's been quite a bit of a journey for you here on Beyond Mystic. And does it feel different in any way? And I'll ask you the same question I asked Sylvia. What were you taking back home from the conference?
So yeah, the biggest takeaway was obviously meeting everybody, and all the comments that I received were very similar. The gratefulness of people coming to me and saying, thank you for all you do. Thank you for the work that you do. Sometimes we don't realize the impact it has. Because for me, it's just a creative process. I create something, I post it, and then, it changes the energy when people buy it. And I guess I hadn't realized that until I saw the people in person and they told me about that. And obviously meeting everyone else and recognizing the names that I always see in my orders and putting a face to the name and actually getting to know them. And the second thing is like how knowledgeable this community is. And right. I was talking to my husband about this because he was mentioning, we think we know, and then we meet all these people that know 10 times more than we do, and we're always learning. And it was amazing to talk to everybody and how knowledgeable they are and how much wisdom they have to share. Right. So that was beautiful.
That's beautiful. Let me ask you also your journey. I just spoke to Sylvia about her exiting the matrix and entering the woo in her full priesthood energy. You've gone through a similar process after we connected here on Beyond Mystic. Where are you on that process today? I know that many people throughout the weekend were thanking you for being there, and I kept hearing you, no, thank you. You guys, Janine, JC, and all of you changed my life. Share with the audience members that transition story with you, some of the hurdles, and what it meant to see all of those people in person giving you that love right back to your face here during the conference in Ottawa.
Yeah, so it's been overwhelming. I have to say that, and I give you credit for this, JC, because you always put me on the spot. And you always take me out of my comfort zone, but it's helped me grow a lot as a person and see what I'm capable of doing. Sometimes, we take our capabilities for granted and we don't think that we are able to do something, and then we're pushed to do them, and then we realize, no, we got this. So the conference was a big thing for me. I was freaking out. So many moving parts and so many things. And then as soon as I got there, I just felt like this calm come over me, and I said, no, I got this. And everything went so smooth. Everybody was so amazing. And yeah, the journey has been crazy. Starting just to making things for myself and to sell them to, people that I know, to then meeting you, JC, and bringing me on the show, and then giving me a voice to share what I do. So it's been amazing.
Now, you were traveling, of course, with your lovely husband, who was manning the booth there, the Ascension Organized booth throughout the weekend. I'm sure over the last 4 years or so of us working together, he might have questioned, who are these people, Janine and JC in Canada? What are you doing exactly? How was the transformation for him also, meeting us in person, but also seeing the love and the support in person that you were getting from the Beyond Mystic community? How did it touch your husband?
He was so impressed and so moved. He told me several times, I can't believe all these people know you and they love you and all the love you received. And everybody in the Beyond Mystic team, you guys always make everyone feel so welcome and like you were part of a family. So he felt that right away with everyone and the staff and even the audience. And people that were meeting him and they didn't know who he was. He's being behind the scenes. So he was definitely impressed. He was fine, happy to meet you and Janine also. So yeah, he was definitely moved by the experience. He was very, very happy. Looking forward to the next one.
Right. Maybe Texas. We're not sure now. Janine and I have been pulling cards over the last couple of days. We're trying to plan it. We'll get back to you on those later details. I know a lot of folks in the chat are saying, we want to go to the next one. Don't worry. It's going to be even bigger. So Texas usually does stuff bigger. So we'll see. Maybe Texas. We'll keep you posted on that. Janine, while you're there also, and while Carla's still on the screen, anything you want to share with her? It's been quite a journey. You and I working with Carla, seeing her develop from those early days. And as she says, struggling to go through those different barriers of her own progression, and us giving her the encouragement to move further and further along this woo path. And how beautiful her journey has been over the last 4 years. Seeing her now interact in person during the conference with the audience members, and seeing the audience members give her that immense love during the weekend. What would you like to share to Carla as well, Janine?
Well, Carla, when you said Jean-Claude always takes you out of your comfort zone, you've said that a few times. I totally know what you're talking about. And I also would say that you're doing it beautifully, though, because never once did I see, watch you on the weekend and feel like you were out of your comfort zone. And you were absolutely, you're masterful at what you do. Like, we give you all of these ideas, and then you go find the stuff and present it so beautifully. And, like, just even getting it to all the people in all over the world. Like, it's amazing what you do. Like, I can't imagine doing what you do, to be honest. So, like, I'm an organizational disaster. So, like, you're the opposite of that is what I'm thinking. And it's fantastic. So I feel like those people to actually meet you on the other end and actually physically see who you are and get to feel your energy, I feel like that was probably a big treat for them.
Thank you, Janine.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. And I have to say both to you, Sylvia, personally on the chat, and Carla here joining us tonight. Thank you for bringing your medicine also to this tribe of the Beyond Mystic community. Thank you for going above and beyond, helping us make the weekend a huge success. You guys are absolutely near and dear and close to my heart. And please know that more and more opportunities wait for you as we move forward into 2025 and beyond here at Beyond Mystic. Any last words from any of you guys before we continue the new segment from the show? I'll start with you, Sylvia, and then Carla.
My goodness, any last words? Honestly, I'm just so full of gratitude. It's just grateful. Like, woo beginnings, new beginnings. I'm just so full of that, and I'm looking forward to it all. So
very good. Thank you,
Yeah.
Sylvia. Appreciate that. I know I'm putting you on the spot. And Carla, also, any last words you want to share with the audience? And of course, we have some beautiful gifts from you tonight. Thank you, Carla, for sponsoring the shows. As always, with all of those amazing gifts, we're going to be giving a pyramid and also a candle later on in the show. So, guys, pay attention in the live chat. You might just be the lucky winner tonight. Carla, any last words before you go?
Yeah, just second what Sylvia said. I am beyond grateful. It's like my heart is filled with love and gratefulness. From the weekend, from spending time with all of you guys in person. So yeah, I just like Sylvia. Sorry, I don't mean to copy you, but it's the same feeling. I'm just looking forward to what comes next and what we're gonna do, and keep growing from there.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Guys, say thank you and hello to both Carla and Sylvia, and please do go check out their products and services across the board here on Beyond Mystic and also on AscensionOrganites.com. I love you guys. Thank you, and let's continue on with the news show tonight. Janine, a lot is going on right now with respect to this JFK assassination files being released. As we came out the other day, I'm having trouble with the slide deck. There you go. We were looking for that, how do you call it? That smoking gun on who shot Kennedy. That's not what we got. And so as we were into the first hours of this information coming out, we had a bit of disappointment into the community, although we did kind of touch upon the Israeli aspect of all of this. And it seems that is very much now coming to the forefront. I think Benny Johnson also produced an amazing video yesterday, and Candace Owens also now being on that track. And as Cliff was saying here on this chat, the ultimate secret to be revealed is aliens. So we're going to have to go through this Israeli front to get to the Elohim and then the adrenochrome, and understanding how this is very much a slave planet. But it seems that those first dominoes now are starting to fall. Janine, what do you make of the news coming out in the last couple of days as it pertains to that? And where do you think we're going? First impressions, and I'll bring up your card deck as well here to get a little bit more clarity. Go ahead.
Well, like you were saying, I was a little disappointed there wasn't that smoking gun, like who done it. But then I started thinking, where was this stuff stored? Who actually compiled the information? CIA, government agencies. Of course, we're not going to get the real truth, right, about a lot of things, but hidden in the documents. And as pointed out by the show you mentioned, or the couple of shows so far, and a lot of good truthers are going to get all over this. And I feel like this is why the Trump team put it out there. They're going to shift through this stuff. And instead of looking for the obvious, they're putting together a real story about how really all the governments were taken over. Okay, who took them over? How it was done, and how they used things like, or sort of created platforms like USAID to fund all of these illegal activities they've been all up to. It's absolutely horrifying, but the information is spectacular through those documents. You can piece together what really was going on. So that part, I feel like we're going to learn. Maybe that's what it was really all about. That's what the information's really trying to show us.
Right. Do you want to do a Kachina knife on this, or maybe another pyramid spread to see how this unfolds moving forward, now that perhaps that first domino going through the gate has just fallen here on the Israeli front, and really going deeper and maybe above our orbit here on the planet to understand what really is going on? Let's choose which spread you want, but let's try to get a little bit more clarity on the timing and how perhaps all of this is going to unfold here moving forward. Janine.
I'm going to do a Kachina.
Okay.
Wow. 2 major arcanas right off the bat. So this is interesting. The Fool. Okay. So that's the sort of the energy it was presented in. So a lot of this, what's being discovered in there, is sort of up to how much digging a person wants to do and how dedicated the digger is going to be. So the Fool just puts everything out. Like, I even think that nobody thought they'd go through it like that.
Right.
Right. And if we only focused on that one thing, okay, who done it really? I feel like it's so convoluted who done it. But it shows who planned to do what. Okay, that's really what we want. Who planned to do what? Okay, and then all of the things that led up to how they could even get away with it. Okay, so all the corruption. And so if someone takes the time and see this card here, it's karmic and just that we know this stuff now. It's karmic and just, but it also talks about justice. Okay, the next thing everyone's going to want to see is, I feel like things are already happening in the background, but we don't know that for sure. Okay, but people are going to want to see justice for this too. Okay, so that if we are in fact a captured governments all over the world, and we're starting to piece together who did the capturing. Okay, and I feel like we're going to want to see justice. It is like taking on one of the biggest evils in the world. So yeah, there's that, right? So that's why it's such a unique approach to doing it. That's why the approach is really unique and needs to be done carefully with a lot of education as we go. Because we've all been so indoctrined and so lied to. And yeah, it's like unraveling a really messed up ball of yarn. You know what I mean? And I commend, people going into these, these files and picking through it and piecing things together. Like, that'll take a lot of organization and focus. And when somebody can put it all together for you and make a little sense, it's fascinating to me.
You mentioned justice there as well, and you mentioned that at the beginning of the show also on the JFK assassination files. If we are going to be draining the swamp at some point to get a little bit more momentum and maybe the morale back up, we're kind of going to need to see some arrests. Do you see that unfolding here too, as this first domino maybe is going down? And if so, like, when is that future timeline wise? Are we looking at a couple weeks? Are we looking at months still? When can we see that in earnest in the mainstream news, knowing that, we're moving up the daisy chain here of this command and control structure, and justice is being laid out? But you want to do another Kachina knife on that, Janine?
Yeah, I think I'm going to do the 7-card spread there.
Okay, very good. You guys are lucky tonight. That's a big spread, a lot of information. Thank you, Janine, for sharing that. We're going to be talking about what they've discovered under the Great Pyramid of Egypt here also today. Of course, Sylvia is doing a retreat in Egypt coming up, and more and more information just was released. I'm going to show you an animation video here of what this new ground-penetrating radar technology has found under the Great Pyramid. A lot of things that many in our community have been saying for years, but now it appears that we're getting more and more proof. And again, blowing holes in the whole Egyptology story about how the pyramids were built, the role of the Israelites in all of this, and whether or not there's way, way, way more to the stories. We'll get into that next segment here in just a few moments. But Janine, yeah, let's talk about this justice here. Oh, wow, those are crazy.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow.
Okay, I'm so excited to see these aces. Okay, first of all, there's an ace in the past. So I'm thinking some of that tribunal stuff's true.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to, I'm going to just say that.
Yeah.
Because that's an ace and it's in the past. So something's already happening.
Yep.
Okay, so somehow there's already, that started already, and they're using a really creative way to do it, which would make sense to the whole Gitmo and underground, places that they're holding people possibly. And here we've got the Temperance card. That's in the present moment. So timing is everything. Okay, so it's reminding us that universal timing is in effect. And this is a spiritual war, and a lot of things are at stake here. It's a major arcana card, so it says there's no rushing that Temperance card. Like they're not in a race because they're taking down a system that enslaved humanity. It doesn't happen overnight like that, right? So the feeling with that card is, yeah, we're in the part where things are all, that ball of yarn is being unraveled, and it kind of needs to happen this way. But around the question about when, this is an Ace of Wands, is another ace. So another yes, and when, and we will get justice, because that was part of the question. So there's a yes, and in the next thing that happens. So we're in this, but this doesn't really give us a time frame. You don't get to know a time here. It's universal timing is in effect. So there's a lot of things to get done, but the plan is to absolutely let everybody in on it. Okay, but first they got to make sure it can't be undone. So they're literally undoing black magic that's been done all over this planet.
Mm-hmm.
And dark operations that have deeply affected humanity, made us sick, but also a lot of mental illness, like all of this done to us, dumbed us down, turned us into a lot of people just walking around like zombies. It's crazy, right? So that's a lot of work. So healing, there's healing to that. A lot of healing has to be done. But this is a yes, it will come to when everybody knows this. Okay, let's keep looking. We've got the hidden influences. This is interesting. That's another dimensional card. Maybe I call it my alliance card. So we could be talking future selves, the wisdom of our future selves. Somehow I feel like they're back looped over on the timeline, however it works. Not sure how it works exactly, but they're here helping. Okay, they came back to help. Okay, now here we've got, this is interesting, the very same two cards again. So there's the war card. Okay, there's the war. So this is, we still got a little more the war part and the messy cleaning the swamp part. So there's still that going on, right? There's, but this card is the end, which is, or the near future outcome. And we're safely looking at, so again, I'm going to say, we're looking at, in retrospect, things that already happened. So justice is already served. They've got to show us who's the bad guys and why they did what they did to them from a safe perspective, and keeping everyone safe in the process doing it. Okay, but when it's right, they will show us what they've done here. We will see the justice. The hermit is the hidden influence. So there's a lot of advice being taken from, I believe, what I call the alliance. So spiritually, the white hats are always have to, I feel like they always have to go to this group to know what to do next, or to get the nod to do what they do.
Okay.
These under these two cards here, we've got the Lovers. So that's can be about government agencies, it's a 6, so it can be about that. But it can also be about finding a balance when something's really not been in balance for a long time. So the difficult process of coming back into balance. And then the Queen of Swords here. So they're doing this so everyone doesn't lose balance once they find out everything that's been done, and even the fact that some of these people have already been dealt with. I feel like that's part of why they're withholding what's actually already been going on, and why we can't know that they already started this process. But justice will be shown to all.
That's very good news. And I also like the fact that somebody's thinking about holding this energy field so that it's not disrupted, or that we don't lose balance, because we are moving into this new yuga of time and we don't want to trip right now too. So I think that's very important. That's a fascinating read. Thank you for that, Janine. Up next, of course, 2 amazing superstars at the conference in Ottawa. One on screen, 2 on screen actually, for workshops, some performing in the background also on Friday night, and also at the Woo Alley in a big way. Of course, please join me in welcoming the amazing Jans and Meg back to the show. Jans and Meg, how are you guys?
We're really good. So nice to be here with you all. Hey, everybody.
Hi.
Excited to have you back on. I have to ask you a question. How are you feeling reintegrating into the real world after this crazy high-dimensional vibe here we felt in Ottawa for the Beyond Mystic conference? How are you doing with all those energies, Meg and Jans?
It was amazing. It was an absolutely beautiful experience. I said it yesterday on the show on Expanding Consciousness. I just absolutely loved it. It was such an amazing experience. You know, this is when you get together with so many people. This is, I wouldn't say this is what you live for, because there's a lot of beautiful things in life, but it's one of the highlights, you know, in life, doing this and that you guys, you know, the whole team pulled this off is just amazing. And it was really a high. And, you know, I had to come down a little bit to get back accustomed to the regular life, so to speak.
It was a hard landing for all of us. Yes, indeed. Meg, of course, very intuitive and very empathic to all of these energies. You were on top of performing and doing keynotes and workshops. You are also doing one-on-one readings, which of course take a lot of energy and is a huge impact on your energetic field. How are you calibrating now to these energies and going back to your normal day and life routine of work here on Beyond Mystic?
Well, happy birthday, JC. By the way, happy solar return and happy new year and equinox, everybody. Today's the first day I can speak again. I lost my voice after the conference just from speaking all the time and the energy. And it was really, really interesting because I'm trying to remember when exactly it was. I think it's when we did a staff meeting before the conference, if I'm not mistaken. Janine, you were saying with your cards that there's going to be a really big theme of past lives and releasing karma that no longer serves us. And that was definitely a huge theme all throughout the conference. I can feel my throat starting to go a little bit now. But people coming up to us in the Scorpling booth and throughout the whole weekend talking about they just met people that they feel like they've known their whole lives, or they've just had a major karmic clearing. There was a big theme of people talking about the witch trials and the wounds of being burned and feeling like they're releasing that and moving past that in the conference. So that was interesting. And when I did the readings, almost everybody I did a reading for, it wasn't just the astrology. There was like deceased loved ones coming through as well, which I was not expecting. So that was like a lot of energy I was not expecting. So today's the first day I'm like feeling really energized and still on a total high from the conference, from being in person with everybody. And I can't wait for the next one. I'm so excited, so excited.
Don't say that to the rest of the team. They're still recuperating.
Yeah.
But yes, Janine and I have big plans, and we've been working. We actually had a meeting. It was the Monday night after the conference. I stayed back in Ottawa. Janine and I stayed back an extra night, and we pulled some cards, and we looked at some astrological dates as well, moving into 2025, and some locations for you guys. We already have the themes. We're pretty set on the themes for the next conference. It's going to be really exciting. We're going to share that with you guys in just a little bit here, but we'll let the rest of our team kind of recuperate from all of this before we put more on their plate. Meg, lots of great comments, of course, from the audience members. They love seeing you and Sunny there with your new endeavor, going out in a big way like this, a beautiful Beyond Mystic community. Of course, we're talking about the Scorpling crystal shop that you had on display here in Woo Alley. Share with the audience members what that experience, that new experience, was like for you and Sunny.
Oh my God, what I mean, JC, I feel like you've just blessed us with these experiences that I don't feel like we could have anywhere else, with this like-minded, amazing community. And we had so much fun in the Woo Alley. Meeting everybody in person was so great. You know, people coming up like, I'm Tracy 766 that talks to you every day in your daily astro. It's like, oh my God, meeting everybody in person, getting to hug and share space. And it was just amazing, the in-person connection. I feel like we've been yearning and craving that for a long time. So that was amazing. And I'm really grateful to everyone that supported us. And Carla too, Ascension Organites in the Woo Alley. It was so much fun. Really grateful for the experience.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And folks, go check her out there at the Scorpling shop. And if you weren't able to put your hands on the crystals you wanted during the weekend, or if you were watching online and just wish that you could grab some of those beautiful products, talk about those little remedies also. It's in the highlight reel videos. What are those? They're so cool. Meg, explain that to the audience members.
Yes, Sunny and I channeled crystal prescriptions for each of your sun, moon, rising signs for the astrological year of Equinox 2025 to Equinox 2026. So based on the transits that all the signs have, there's a crystal that we have prescribed. And people were really resonating with the crystals that we prescribed. So we're like, okay, we're not just some crazy witches over here. People were like really resonating with it a lot. So it's always nice to see the in-person feedback. It was great.
Right. Well, yeah. I love mine. Thank you for that. It was very apropos also for my birthday. Guys, again, check it out at the Scorpling Shop website. Yeah, same question for you. A lot of people seeing you in the first time. They've been watching your Expanding Consciousness series for quite some time. They were excited about your new book, of course, A World in Transition, which just came out in English just in time for the conference. You signed a lot of copies, a lot of people interested in that. I got comments that I shared with you guys earlier this week. People are like, we don't often buy books, but we were drawn to buy Jens's book for some reason, and they're completely blown away. How was your experience also dealing with all of that at the Woo Alley during the weekend? Jens?
I just loved it, and like Meg said, to see people that watch the show and to say, people came to me and said, "Oh, Jens, I really like your perspective," and I really valued that so much. Of course, I see the comments, I read all the comments, and I really value that too. But when you see, when there's a physical person in front of you and they say that to you, and there's this human connection, it was absolutely beautiful and absolutely wonderful. And I was really touched at some points, because then you really realize it's real. Of course, we always realize it's real, but when you're confronted with a physical person or with people that are coming to you, and I talk to a lot of people, and of course I appreciate they like the talk that I did, and they bought my book. So I'm so grateful for this weekend. I'm grateful for the whole team, for EJC making this possible, and Sarah, of course, who did a lot of work. It was just an amazing experience. And
let me ask you both the same question I asked the lovely Glass on the screen. What was your big takeaway from the conference? What are you getting back from it, having gone through, both of you at a different pace, to your own personal pace here, getting outside of the matrix and moving into the Woo, becoming your Woo selves here? You're both doing an amazing job on that. But here, seeing the result of that and seeing it face to face, as you say, in person, what did it mean to you? Let me ask you, Meg, first.
Excuse me. Well, it means absolutely everything to me, because I come from a family in my British ancestry. People are like psychic mediums and astrologers, but I didn't live in England my whole life, so I was kind of disconnected from that. But my family in Canada all thought they love me, but they think I'm freaking crazy and nuts. So people really around me in my close circle, kind of projecting on me, you're crazy, you can't be an astrologer, you can't be a mystic, you can't be an artist. And then to have the opportunity of, like, there was one moment, JC, I forget when it was exactly. I think it was right after we were all on stage and we were saying thank you at the end of the conference, where there's like hundreds of people clapping at us, and there's the really bright lights, and there's the projectors and the cameras. And I was just like saying to you, this is totally surreal that in, my personal life, and many of us have had that experience, we're like shamed and in some cases shunned for being our mystic selves. And then we're like standing on a stage getting clapped at. So it was kind of a little bit surreal and really affirming, and just wow, we are being called at this time to step into, I like to call it light work, and bringing these ancient practices back into the forefront. And it's really needed. And I just feel like we're craving it right now. So, if you're feeling drawn to do this stuff, there's a reason for that. And it's important that you follow that.
Okay. Well, I'm excited to hear that. And I want to ask you also, Jans, that same question. How did that make you feel?
Actually, basically totally the same on exit. The moment we were at the end, when you see it in the picture, that exact moment, I had such an unreal feeling. I was like, this is unreal. Because if I think back 20 years ago in my life, I was in Belgium, my family there, they're all pretty closed off. I was like the odd one out, talking about the stuff 20 years ago, about all the things we're talking about now, much more openly. And then there's a whole room of 300 awake people, and it was just, I had like, this is unreal. You never know what to expect in life. Life is full of surprises. So it was amazing.
Janine, let me ask you also, having seen Jans's and also Meg's trajectory here and immense growth over the last number of months and years here for both of them, individually and collectively, what would you like to say after seeing them not performing just at the top of their game as they already did on stage, but also seeing the community's response to them here at the Beyond Mystic conference? What would you like to share with both Jans and Meg?
Meg, oh my goodness, what a DJ. What a star DJ. Like, I loved how, I like, Meg, how you can go from being the high priestess of astrology, and I know you're a good tarot card reader too, so you have that high priestess, even your look about you, like literally the high priestess card. And then you can all of a sudden turn around. Now you're like a star DJ. It was just like, I love the versatility. I know you had a lot of personal readings, but you actually got through them and did them. And like, that had to be hard. Like with everything else going on, it was like there was 5 of you there doing all of that. You had the jobs of 5, like, and then on top of everything else, you're selling crystals and like sharing your crystal knowledge, like unbelievable. Like, you're unbelievable. And Jens, well, I'm just getting to know, it feels like the hermit. So we have the high priestess and the hermit card, the two, the masculine, feminine embodiment of intuition and wisdom. And you two are like that couple. Jens is a little shyer, or maybe not shy, reserved, maybe just a little more reserved. Certainly when you compare with the other, like, I can be pretty boisterous and outgoing myself, and Jean-Claude is pretty outgoing. So I'm just comparing it to that. So there's this, but deep wisdom, like just looking at Jens almost feels like he's going to see right through me. And I know people say that about me, but I felt that with Jens. When he looks at you, he's lovingly, very compassionately, but he's seeing into the depths of your being, or that's how it felt. So I'm sure there's if you asked him what was going on with you, he could probably tell you.
That's very good and very apropos. Thank you. And I have to say, I was also impressed with your presentation. I watched it on replay, of course, over the last couple of days, and caught up with each and every one of you. And you guys all hit it out of the park. And it was funny too, we were mentioning this, Janine and I, we had brought the keynote speakers together for the 3 main themes. And of course, all of you guys with your presentation, and we thought it fit into the conference, but oh my God, did it fit? You guys all intertwine one into each other, all the keynotes independently of each other, into this huge, amazing informational field throughout the weekend. And it was like synchronistic, but it also like showed us that there was a bigger hand at play guiding each and every one of us throughout this weekend and making it the huge success that it was. So big thank you to both of you, Jans and also Meg, throughout the weekend. You guys were absolutely amazing. Guys, Carla, Sylvia, Jans, and Meg, if you want to stay on, you're more than welcome to stay on. I know I was only asking you here to come in for a couple of seconds here or minutes. So feel free to stay on. If you have to go, you can go as well. We're going to move into the next segment of the show now. Thank you, Sylvia. Thank you, Carla. Thank you, guys. We're going to move into this next comment. Thank you, everyone. Of course, there's the big news about the pyramids here in the last couple of days. We've been talking about this show. Okay, Sylvia's going to stay on for a little bit here. Yeah, stay on. Okay, let me play this video. Actually, we're going to change a screen here. Anyway, I want you to hear some of the audio behind this presentation. So this is a cutout. There's a bigger presentation out there on my Twitter if you want to find it. This is a 1-minute clip that kind of surmises here what's now just been found underneath the pyramid. I want to talk about that. We're going to ask Janine also to pull cards on this, what that means moving forward in this era of Wu beginnings and this new yuga of time we're entering here. Perhaps the pyramid is acting on that particular energy as well, and what perhaps Sylvia wants to bring to this forefront. So let's hear it. Of course, big news coming out of Egypt today, really turning on its head the whole Egyptology story and the gatekeepers of Dr. Zawi Hawass. Big transformations here in the information world today. Let's play this clip.
3D model of the internal structure of the Great Pyramid of Giza. Now, this model has revealed a previously unknown chamber with 5 horizontal levels and a sloping roof, which in of itself is an architectural design unlike any previously documented in the Giza Pyramid. But the most shocking discovery lies beneath the surface. Below ground level, radar tomography has identified vertical cylindrical structures extending for hundreds of meters beneath the pyramid. There are 8 of these cylindrical wells arranged in 2 parallel rows, descending to an astonishing depth of 648 meters. Even more intriguing, at the base of these structures are 2 massive cubic formations measuring approximately 80 meters in diameter. The tomographic data suggests that these are vertical wells with intricate spiral pathways. Now, this design not only implies a functional purpose, but also a level of sophisticated engineering that completely blows the dynastic Egyptian model out of the water. I mean, the pyramid itself was already a massive red flag in the ancient Egyptian historical narrative. But now, with this discovery, I think it's become impossible to say that the Egyptian civilizations that we understand, that we've been taught about, were responsible for building these structures. And it doesn't even end there. 3D.
And what's that quote? And there's more. So guys, there's a lot more. I invite you to go check out the links on my Twitter. Your first reactions to all of this, Sylvie, what do you want to share with the audience? You're on mute. If you want to unmute yourself on your side there, go ahead.
I am so excited that this is finally coming out, because I mean, just look at the picture and automatically you know it's energy conducting. You know that it's built right. Like, so we're talking about big frequencies, big battery. This is what we're talking about. And what's interesting is that, you know, I'll just speak to my personal experience, like of literally being inside like the king's chamber and being in sarcophagus. It's like, you feel it, like, you know that it's a space for transportation, like a space. I mean, it's literally like the environment of those chambers are specifically designed for transportation. teleportation, all of the things. I can go on and on and on, but essentially, you know, it's funny because a lot of this has also been prophesized, right? We can talk about like, I mean, there's, you know, a whole bunch of things going around. It's like, oh, is this like the Library of Atlantis potentially down there? Is it like the Halls of Amenti and like all of these pieces that people are talking about? But a lot of this stuff has been prophesized. And yeah, it is ancient future technology, 110% that is absolutely felt when you are inside that pyramid. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to
And I'll say,
go on for 2 hours, but
future ancient technologies and perhaps set to reactivate also here. So that's interesting in the yugas of time and perhaps the role that these pyramids play in either the energetic field around the planet and many other functions, as you say. And when I saw those cylindrical columns underneath there, that's not including what's underneath that. You're talking about hundreds of meters below, absolutely massive undertaking, which the pyramid we thought was a massive undertaking and could be hard to duplicate even to today. I was reminded of this movie, was in there, Schwarzenegger in the 1990s, this movie called Total Recall, when they try to reignite this core reactor on the planet. Some of those columns look very similar to me. So I think they were kind of telling us something here, but they weren't talking about Mars. They were talking about planet Earth. Of course, there at the time in that movie, it had to do with terraforming Mars, and that's why that reactor was there. So today we can talk about various different functions here, but nevertheless, Janine, the cat is out of the bag. The pyramids are not what we've been told, and it's very indicative as we're moving into this woo beginnings here that information also, never mind the JFK stuff, which is huge, also going back to Israel and going back to the Elohim worship cult, this too is a big revelation for the whole planet, and we haven't yet even begun to digest what that means. Let me bring up your card view as well here. I want you to pull your first reaction also to this big news, just you personally, what do you feel about this? And let's pull some cards to see where this goes and whether or not this pyramid has an energetic role coming up also here in the very near future. Janine.
Well, it's just one of those tower moments that are going to happen all through the year. They've been happening. And we got that everything was going to shift. All of the officialdoms, and that includes official narratives about our past, are all coming down this year. They don't hold up. They're a whole bunch of BS strung together to cover up, you know, a whole bunch of things they already know. Like I'm sure a lot of this information was known, but been held and kept from us, the regular folks. So to me, it's just like the beginning of the coming down of all of this for people that haven't been paying attention.
Right. Do you want to do a poll on the role of this pyramid here moving forward? What we need to know about this? Of course, early hours, early days into this information, much more to digest. Looking very much like a power structure, as many have said in the past. All of these people, again, similar to the people here in Beyond Mystic, were ridiculed, ostracized, and marginalized throughout the years for having these lofty ideas, and yet time and time again were proven to be true, and the community is moving towards this field of knowledge here. So where do you see this going moving forward here in 2025? And does the pyramid have some type of energetic role here in this new age or this new yuga of time here, the Dwarpar Yuga? If you go by Cliff High's presentation about the singularity that he presented you guys on Friday at the conference. And on that note, while Janine pulls those last cards, I do want to share with you, yes, this is confirmed. Cliff High will also be, see if we can change that. Let's go to this one. Will be joining us this Sunday night for the Wacky Woo for a very special Singularity report that's going to be at 8 p.m. Eastern this Sunday on Rumble, perhaps also on YouTube. We'll see. I'll have to ask him here about the language, and also, of course, on X. So you don't want to miss that. It's a date for this Sunday night. Cliff High is going to be back with us here on Beyond Mystic. Janine, what do you see there for the cards with respect to this Great Pyramid and the role it might be playing here very soon?
I'll put these in the view when I got more room here. So I'll start with what we got. So this is the thing itself. So the information, and it's the Page of Cups, which is surprise, but it's just the tiny tip of the iceberg of, like, they're just giving us the tiny tip of the iceberg. There's so much more that they've known or discovered. Okay. So this is like, it's just the very beginning of so much more. And this card's about the so much more. Okay. So they're just going to feed it to us in drip, 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 maybe throughout the year. I feel like there's going to be more big revelations. There's going to be more information coming. I feel like they already know. This has already been known for a really long time and was kept hidden. I mean, maybe it was one of the big secrets hidden in the Vatican library. Who knows where they hid it? Okay, but I feel like this has been hidden. The elites knew about it. They knew what it was for, and it looks like it could be programmed. So I get something that can be programmed for frequency. So to me, it feels like it puts out a frequency. So and that's just again the tip of the iceberg. I feel like there's way more to it, but just a little bit of information. What I'm getting here is it puts out a frequency, and depending on who's using it, they can program it energetically. So they use maybe priests or used priests and priestesses to program what frequency they wanted to create here on the earth. I feel like it literally could span really a big part of the earth, even energetically. And then we've got the Queen of Swords. Also the fact that there were other pyramids, maybe they even spoke to each other, or the frequencies interacted with each other, something like that. We've got the Queen of Swords in the near future. So again, like I said, a lot more to be discovered about this and a lot more truth. And some of them won't be pretty how they might have used this thing. So it's been used for, in fact, it kind of comes to mind that portal they built. What was that called? That it felt like a demonic portal. CERN. Yeah, it has a feeling like that. Okay, so I feel like it can move people through dimensions and or also sends out frequencies. Like it feels like there's a lot more to it than just one function, for instance. But depending on who's using it, it can be used as a weapon against humanity or absolutely for the good.
Now, does this have something to do, and maybe Sylvia, you can chime in on this, and even if it's coming from the gut, Janine, you can do two clarifiers also. Does this have something to do with a couple of years ago, we had reported how they had moved the ancient royals from one location to another location at that time during those ceremonies to this new museum in Cairo? We were suggesting that there was a shift of energies or perhaps somebody else being in control of those levers of control there in Egypt. Do you think it has something to do with that? That was the preparatory stage maybe for all of this, Sylvia?
That's a loaded question. And I do feel that there's definitely a connection, but essentially the Great Pyramid, the Giza Plateau, this whole area, right? It's on a very concentrated energetic ley line. It acts as a literal stargate. Okay. And it is so Janine, you mentioned it, and the cards mentioned it. It was made for literal transportation. There's very specific mystery school teachings around how they did that and how they used obviously high priestesses, specifically with great kings, pharaoh, etc., to run resurrection mysteries. And this is a whole other thing in the mystery schools. But yeah, I mean, I can absolutely see that with that technology that is also very much embedded with plasma field, because this is a whole other thing, right? How that could potentially get into the wrong hands for doing the wrong things, for sure. Not to put fear into anything, but just like anything else that was, when you talk about Egypt and the templates turned and corruption came in and all the things, there's a reason why these things also got shut down.
Right. And it's funny you're talking about plasma. That was one of the keynotes also with Jay Widener, understanding what plasma is, how we interact with it. All of this seems to be popping up in a big way. Janine, let me ask you there with the cards. That same question. Do you feel that the moving of the royals, those mummies, perhaps somebody else is in charge of the energy grid right now? Is that good or bad for humanity? What do you see transpiring here, moving into this new information field with the pyramids?
Yeah, it got switched and they just officially announced it with that ritual. So that was the idea behind it, even though they were calling it something else, saying it was something else. Okay, there's a strategy, and they're shifting the energy. So they're switching it.
Wow.
Just like we used to get this card a lot around that CERN. I feel like they also the good energy also has hold of the CERN energy. And these two are interesting, further to the point of as moving things around, but also creating realities. Like this feels like it could have created what we call the matrix. Okay, so how our world got created, like it feels like they programmed something in there and it created a reality.
The overlay. Yeah, we've talked about that on a couple of occasions. Now, can you do extra clarifiers also on how this ties in to the question we had at the beginning of the show, the whole Elohim, the ET front, and how we are not alone, Janine? How does this tie in if you want to do two more clarifiers?
Wow, interesting. Queen of Pentacles, like there's you need patience and you will manifest something with her. She uses patience, intention, and manifest something. And then the Queen, two goddess cards is very interesting. Very interesting. Something about the divine feminine there. Turning on.
Sylvia and I talked about that in a great deal during this ceremony. Of course, it was all about the divine feminine energy. Wow.
Turning it on and off. And I feel like bringing back the power of the divine feminine. I don't think I'm answering your question, but I think it just picked up on something else. Coming back to her, she's the more empowered. And this one can be, she's very emotionally driven, but sometimes gets lost in the weeds a little bit and a little depressed and focused. Okay, so I feel like it almost strengthens, or that ceremony was to bring back a stronger version of the feminine, and not the one that sort of the last 1,000 years gave us, or couple of 100 years anyway, gave us. You know what I mean? Like, if you think about it, the dark cult just seems to hate the feminine.
Absolutely.
Right? They don't present an honest feminine. Like, your models are all either they have no femininity left in their figures anymore. They starve them to have them, or they want that look, or if they're naturally built like that, 1% of women could be built like that, or they literally are men, transgendered into women, and so they have this look that women can't really achieve because it isn't actually feminine. Right. So all our models are modeled on that. Like, it feels like we were taught to really disempower, and she can be like that because she's so obsessed with something maybe she can't have, right? So we can really be tricked in this, the way culture has created the place for women. We can be tricked so easily into not really stepping into our power, or giving it all away, or whatever. And I feel like that ceremony brought back the divine feminine, or did some kind of shift to help us step back into our power.
Isn't it so apropos that Sylvia and I have been working for the last 2 years to bring this information field, but also the healing aspect of the divine feminine, the womb aspect of all that here to Beyond Mystic. She is currently offering the womb healing sessions, of course, on the consultation page, guys. If you want to do a one-on-one with Sylvia, you can find that there. And the workshop is also coming here very soon on the Academy. Of course, the breathwork workshop is available there too if you want to support her there on the Academy. You can also, the Sapphire Flame is sold out. We're changing that product. We'll be adding more there as well. But the womb healing, of course, guys, is still available here on the consultation page of Beyond Mystic. So thank you so much. And stay tuned, everyone, for this new information field popping up also on the Academy here with the lovely and amazing Sylvia. How synchronistic all of this is, Sylvia. We knew 2 years ago it was coming up, and we're just on time with this healing information here for our beautiful community. Thank you, Sylvia, for joining us here tonight. You're muted on your side. I can't hear you. Thank you so much. And guys, we have a few prizes to give away. Sylvia, if you want to do the honor for us, of course, we'll pick some questions here for the audience members. Let me bring up. We're going to be giving away right now this beautiful natural candle here. This is the Ace of Cups, a candle. I love this one. Beautiful scents here to the audience members. Sylvia, let me give you the first honor here of asking the question to the audience members here. Do you have a question for the Rumble feed? See if we can get a one-word type of answer here to something we were discussing here tonight. What would you suggest?
Yes. Okay. Let's go back to, oh my goodness, we talked about a lot of things. Okay. I'm like, what can we ask here? Okay. I'm going to try to make this easy. Let's bring it back to, something super easy. Okay. What was the title of my speech at the conference?
Okay, so the presentation, not the workshop, but the presentation. Okay.
Yeah.
Title of, this is easy, guys. Somebody's going to get this, of course. So the title, it had to do with travel. Hint, that was one word in there. We're looking for a few keywords there in the live chat. And of course, while we're waiting for that, guys, please note that you can support the lovely Janine, of course, at tarotbyjanine.com, as always. And if you're looking to be part of this amazing conference and to feel the energy, it's just as powerful online on the show as it was in person in Ottawa. Please check it out at beyondmystic.academy there on sale. About $700 worth of workshops and keynote, live 3-day event here, all available to you guys here at $99. So please do go check that out. Let me see if I can go back to the live chat. Where was I here? It's not astral travel. No. Okay, hold on. This one, I'll pick this one here. Sacred DNA travel. Yeah, pretty close. Jenny and Lisa, you're the winner. We'll give you that one. Jenny, of course, you have my email. Send that to me and we'll have Carla send you this beautiful candle. Next up is the crazy cool pyramid. This one here. Rachel. I love the colors on this one. The green and, of course, the sacred geometry there on top. Janine, do you have a question here for the audience members?
Yep. Do you guys remember I called Meg and Jens as a couple 2 tarot cards? I likened them to, and I'll say what Jens's was.
Okay.
Okay, so the masculine version of the intuitive and very spiritual being, and Meg was the other one. What was that? The feminine version of, and I even said she looks a bit like that one.
Okay. Guys in the live chat. Hope you guys were paying attention. Let me see that scroll. Yes, okay. Janine, do you want to just double check me on the side here on the side chat? Make sure I have the correct answer. I think I do. Oh yeah, quite a few people have the right answer. I just want to make sure. Okay, so also as a quick note, while we wait for the answer, Jenny says, "Hey, the Pure Sleep is sold out." Okay, so while you guys were talking, yes, so many of you are jumping on the Pure Sleep that you busted the inventory. I did send a live message to both Roger and Dorothy at Pure Bulk, and they said, actually, we were producing a brand new batch today, and because I've mentioned this live tonight, they've went back now and reactivated the queue for you guys. You should see the inventory now on purebulk.com, and of course, if you use the coupon code Pure Wacky Woo in one word, you'll get 20% off there on your Pure Sleep product. Now, if for some reason there's still a glitch in the server as they reintroduce the inventory live tonight for you guys, they said, of course, they will honor the coupon code If you contact their tech support tomorrow morning when the shop is open again, they will, of course, honor that coupon code for you guys. But yes, the stock is back in stock. So don't you worry. If you're looking for a better night's sleep, yes, get your pure sleep at purebulk.com. Okay, Janine, let me go back. Yes, and yes, does that make sense? Yes, here. Okay, so Janine, I'm going to ask you to tell me when to stop the feed here.
Stop.
Okay, my cursor is on Jules 292, the High Priestess. That is the correct answer. Congratulations, Jules 929. Sorry, that's what it is. Please contact me, of course, at beyondmystic.net. Top of the page there, you'll find the tech support form, and you let us know, please, that you're the winner for tonight, and we'll have Carla ship that out to you here in short order. Janine, well, actually, let me start with you. We're moving into this brand new age. We felt it, of course, at the conference, both there in person and also on the live chat. What would you say that all this change is bringing? Some excitement, of course, a lot of that to our community, but also some trepidation. It's not always easy to face changes in one's life. What would you say quickly here? Last parting words of advice on how to deal with that change and that rapid rate of change also. Let me start with you, Sylvia. You're muted on your side, Sylvia. Go ahead.
You want me to? Oh, sorry. You're asking me first. I thought you were asking Janine. I was like,
I'll ask you first, and I'll finish with Janine.
My goodness, how to navigate these changes? Essentially, do your best to stay grounded. It's like the simple thing is do your best to stay grounded in nature. Right? Mm-hmm. We talk about the divine feminine as this like rising theme. Like it's going to be really important. That's, nature, it's matter. It's, so just staying grounded with that personally is what I do. And it works really well. So if you can get yourself into nature, she will support you tremendously through these changing times.
Love it. Simple. And it works very effective, of course. Janine, last words of wisdom before we go.
Well, I had a really cool experience. I drove my son to his university this evening, or just before the show, and I, drove and came back. And on my way back, and this is where I'm still in Vancouver, so this is like inner city Vancouver. I see several eagles, and I just can't not see them. They're huge, swooping over the traffic. It was fascinating. I don't know what they were. Something must have drawn their attention, but they were huge eagles. Like the wingspan was incredible. So the bald-headed eagles, like the white on the top and then the brown black on the bottom on the rest of them. Yeah, it was incredible. And I didn't count them because I was busy driving in traffic, but my intuition said there were 6. And then I did what I always do when things, like just in life, I asked for a sign. Okay. And I said, did I get that right? Were there 6? And let me know what they were swooping around for. I thought it was a sign that things are about to step up and shift into high gear, which that would be the chariot that we saw in the reading when we were looking at what's coming. The chariot, like I feel like with all those eagles are like really the spiritual level really rises. And I was like, if I really did see 6 and they're really, that is true, I'm going to see 1 more. And then here's what's so funny. A huge sign almost felt like it was too big for, how they have those overhanging signs coming out onto the street, this really old fashioned one. I'm going to have to go back there and take a picture because it was crazy. But it had a great big eagle flying straight out into the street, but it was actually a sign. It looked like maybe from the 70s or something. And it was a neon sign for, I don't know what it was a sign for, some shop, but it was literally an eagle. And it came up right after I said, I need another eagle for a sign. So my advice would be look for signs when you're feeling unhinged or, like Sylvia was saying, nature, definitely. Going in nature is your best bet for getting your signs. And be specific about what sign, what are you asking about? What are you trying to confirm? You want to see this. And don't make it too easy for the universe. Do you know what I mean? Don't make it too easy. Make it like it doesn't have to be totally virtually impossible. Also, though, keep absolutely open-minded about what is your eagle. It didn't have to be a real one. It could be the visuals of one, right? Like the universe has a great sense of humor and is very ingenious at how to bring you these signs.
Right.
So ask for signs, trust that everything in life is showing you your way to go, and especially in nature. Okay,
That's wonderful.
so yeah.
That's wonderful advice. Thank you both, Sylvia and Meg. I have to say also, just leading up to the conference, I also was looking for a sign, and I was struggling, of course, with all the stress, the preparation, that comes with a normal event, let alone a Beyond Mystic event, right? I wanted to make sure everybody was safe and that we're going to have an amazing time and that we would deliver basically the merchandise to you guys. And I was working really hard to that, to the point where I was not sleeping also. And I had the benefit, I think it was on a Tuesday night, to have a reading, because I called Janine. I said, Janine, I need a little guidance here. And out of sheer luck, Ashala was there with her and her beautiful dollar crystal. So the three of them gave me a personal reading. And what came out of it too was that they were asking me to make sure I asked for universe what I needed to see from the conference, what I needed to bring back from the conference also, and to set that as an intention. And I did just that. And what it was basically the sign from universe, seeing the immense success that Beyond Mystic Conference was a sign that, hey, we were on the right track. We had arrived, we were here, we were doing the good work, and we had universe basically propelling us moving forward. It was a huge hell yes, you're doing good, keep going. And that for me, and seeing all of you in person, all the thank yous and all of the love that you guys shared for not just me, but Janine and the rest of the team, and Sarah also in the background doing all the work, was just like the cherry on top for all of it. So ask for your signs also, guys, and universe will provide. I'm so happy I got mine. I'm so happy all of you at the conference also had your gift back from universe, so to speak. So a big thank you to all of you watching tonight. Please make sure to watch us over the weekend here. Quite a few new shows coming out in the next couple of days, including the Wacky Woo with Cliff High on Saturday. Speaking of Cliff High, I just double checked on the page for the Pure Sleep, and yes, you'll see here back in stock. You can add them back in stock now. They've just refreshed the page for you guys. If you were looking for that, don't forget to use the coupon code Pure Wacky Woo to get 20% off here. The Pure Sleep formula from Cliff High. I'm Jean-Claude Beyond Mystic. I love you guys. Have a great evening, and thank you for all the birthday wishes as well. You guys are absolutely amazing. Au revoir.
Au revoir.
Tay rõ ràng là gom góp từ trong thôn làng gần đó. Mấy cái này không thể gọi là binh khí, nhưng lại có hiệu quả gây trở ngại cho mũi dùi của kỵ binh và yểm hộ quan binh né tránh. Mặc dù Giang Nam ít kỵ binh, nhưng những quan binh cầm trường mâu đơn đao này lợi dụng địa thế của mình để triệt tiêu ưu thế chiến mã của kẻ địch, sau đó dùng phương thức tác chiến vài người một tổ nhỏ của trang gia binh. Binh khí ngắn dài phối hợp, có người phụ trách công, có người phụ trách thủ, có người phụ trách chém đầu người, có người phụ trách chém chân ngựa, khiến người Bạch Y quân ngồi trên ngựa khó giữ vững vẹn toàn phải đau đầu không thôi. Đám giặc nóng này dứt khoát nhảy xuống ngựa chém giết với toàn binh. Bạch Y quân đến sau không ngừng gia nhập chiến đoàn. Lý Thủ Bị và Vạn Đô Ti dần không khống chế được tình thế trên chiến trường. Lúc này, Hoắc Bách Hồ phụ trách trấn thủ Đông Bình trấn, Lý Thương Hồ của Đồng Sơn trấn, Hà Huyện Thừa của Thích Kiều thôn dẫn quan binh dương cờ xí tập kích. Tuy quan binh không đông lắm, nhưng ba đường vây kín khiến áp lực tâm lý của Bạch Y quân lập tức tăng lên, bắt đầu sinh ra ý nghĩ rút lui. Tuy rằng bọn họ vẫn luôn chiến đấu không nơi, nhưng cơ hội đánh một trận ác liệt với quan binh không nhiều, mà hiện tại quan binh lại giống như là phát điên, trở nên không sợ chết, y như bọn họ lại mất đi ưu thế chiến mã. Hiệp lộ tương cùng, dũng giả thắng, tức là khi đối thủ gặp nhau nơi ngõ hẹp, ta dũng cảm hơn sẽ chiến thắng. Dũng khí không phải được sinh ra từ hư không. Viện quân đến khiến quân coi giữ đang trên đà suy sụp lại uy danh đại trấn, còn Bạch Y quân thì lại ủ rũ chán nản. Mỗi một bước tiến về phía trước thì khoảng cách đến thành Nam Kinh càng gần một bước. Nhưng quãng đường còn lại mỗi một bước tiến đến đều phải dùng máu để nhuộm. Chẳng lẽ khoảng cách ngắn như vậy mà lại giống như một lành trời hay sao? Trong lòng Dương Hồ tức giận bất bình, nhưng gã cũng lo lắng nghe tin quan binh đến càng lúc càng đông. Ưu thế của bọn họ mạnh ở nhanh, lại không mạnh ở công tiên. Tất phải lấy sở đoàn đánh sở trường. Dương Hồ bắt đầu hô đánh chiên thu binh, quyết định đi đường vòng đánh vua hồi về Nam Kinh. Đại quân bắt đầu di chuyển về phía đông. Lý Thiên Hổ, Hoắc Bách Hộ vừa mới đánh tới, tham công không tha, đuổi giết không buông ở đằng sau. Dương Hồ tức giận xoay người chiến đấu, mất đi ưu thế xa doanh và mặt đất gồ ghề, lại không kịp kết trận tự bảo vệ mình. Quan binh không phải là đối thủ của kỵ binh, lập tức bị giết đến hoa rơi nước chảy, một kích liền tan. Dương Hồ cũng không tham chiến, lập tức thúc ngựa đi tiếp. Đến lúc gã lãnh quân đến Mao Sơn Trấn thì thấy một con sông chặn đường, trên sông có một cây cầu lớn. Trên mã Tư Thông vừa tiến lên được hơn 200 thì ầm một tiếng thật lớn, dưới cầu dâng lên một màn khói lửa dày đặc nổ tung cây cầu và mấy mươi vài kỳ quân khó khăn lắm mới qua được cầu. Trong buổi lao bên bờ đối diện, vạn tiễn cùng bắn, lập tức sau đó có vô số nhân mã giết ra. Xem bộ dạng đại bộ phận là dân tráng binh dữ, bao vây khoảng trăm vài kỳ quân, thì dùng cung nỏ bắn từ xa. Một hồi sau trên chiến trường chỉ còn lại trơ trọi hơn trăm con chiến mã. Chỉ thấy sai nhà tuần kiểm và dân tráng vây quanh một quan văn đi đến bên cầu. Viên quan văn đó ngâm đen cường tráng, ôm bụng cất tiếng cười to, lớn tiếng quát: Bổn quan Mao Sơn tuần kiểm ty Thủy Thiên Đạo ở đây, phản tặc Bạch Y, các người đặng thế đã mất còn không bó tay chịu trói. Dịch Tần Phong như xăng giận dữ, đoạt lấy một cây cung nháy mắt đã bắn ra một mũi tên. Đối phương liền có người nâng tấm chắn nghênh đón, che chở cho thủy tuần kiểm lui xuống đê. Mấy trăm dân trước sau theo sau cầm cung bắn lạc sang sông. Dương Hồ tức đến nổi gân xanh, hạ lệnh không được giằng co với đám dân tráng này, tiếp tục xua quân đông tiến, lại nhằm về phía đê Lý Gia. Đại quân đi được nửa đường, vừa lúc bắt gặp quan binh của tiên nhân vệ đến chi viện, bị gã giết đến không kịp trở tay. Quan binh đại bại, Dương Hồ cũng nhổ được cục tức, thế là gã chỉ huy đại quân tấn công đạo Sĩ Lĩnh. Trên đạo Sĩ Lĩnh cũng có một đội quân chiếm đóng, nhân số không nhiều, ước chừng chỉ có vài ngàn người, dựa vào nơi cao mà phòng thủ. Dương Hồ chỉ huy đại quân tấn công núi, trên đỉnh núi nhánh từng bó cỏ khô đốt cháy xuống sườn núi. Khói đặc cuồn cuộn khiến người ta chảy nước mắt nước mũi. Trên mã cũng bị ảnh hưởng. Nếu là bình thường, Dương Hồ hoàn toàn có thể dẫn quân đi. Quan binh bằng vào hai cái chân đuổi gã cũng không kịp, cũng chỉ có thể than vãn không biết làm sao. Nhưng mà hiện tại Dương Hồ chí tại Nam Kinh, tuyệt không thể đuổi, vì thế đưa ra một động lệnh bảo đại quân liều mình tấn công núi. Hai bên đánh nhau hơn nửa canh giờ, quan binh trên núi dần chống cự không nổi. Vì để ngăn cản Bạch Y quân đuổi theo quan binh đốt núi, ngọn núi này không cao, các nơi đều là bụi cây thấp bé, vừa đốt thì khói đặc mù mịt. Dương Hồ không rảnh đuổi giết đại binh, đi thẳng vượt qua ngọn núi. Đại quân đi đến Hỏa Quán Oa, Dương Hồ không khỏi chấn động. Phía trước có một hào sâu, đối diện dùng mấy trăm chiếc xe kết trận. Quân tiên phong giao chiến với Bạch Y quân, đối phương dùng cung tiễn nỏ lớn, súng nòng to, pháo sát uy tàn sát cách một con hào, lấy cự mã xa doanh hỏa khí để chống lại ngựa, trang bị hoàn mỹ như vậy so với Quách Gia Trang càng hơn 3 phần. Dương Hồ đã choáng váng đầu óc, chỉ cảm thấy đoạn đường này đi tiếp nữa, càng về thành Nam Kinh, quan binh càng nhiều, và thật trốn trốn mai phục, nơi nơi là binh, thì không khỏi đau buồn đến tận tâm can. Chẳng lẽ như lời Hàn Bách đã nói, kỳ tập thành Nam Kinh sớm đã nằm trong dược liệu của triều đình. Nhưng Triệu Phong Thử và Lưu Thất đều ước định tấn công thành Nam Kinh. Nếu tự mình rút khỏi con đường này, khiến việc sắp thành lại bại, chẳng qua chỉ là sống lâu thêm mấy ngày. Nếu quan hai đội kia bị đánh bại, chỉ dựa vào nhân mã của mình có thể đi đâu. Chẳng qua cũng chỉ muộn mấy ngày chôn chân ở Giang Đông mà thôi. Đang suy nghĩ, khóe mắt lộ ra chút lưu quan, một mũi tên dài không dâm đuôi bắn ra từ nỏ lớn đang phá không bay tới. mang theo tiếng gào sắc bén. Vù một tiếng, một tên thị vệ thân cận cưỡi trên ngựa bị xiên qua ngực, mang theo một màn sương máu tiếp tục bay ra, liên tiếp bắn chết 3 người, khắp nơi đều kinh hoàng né tránh. Dương Hồ suy tính đến đây, thấy tình cảnh này liền quả hạ quyết lệnh, không thể đi nữa rồi, bất luận thế nào nhất định cũng phải vượt qua. Ta không tin mỗi con đường lớn thông đến Nam Kinh triều đình có bao nhiêu binh mã ven đường không ngừng bố trí phòng vệ. Giết qua cho ta. Trịnh Trần Phong, người dẫn theo quân sở bộ đánh tiên phong. Lý Dạ Ẩn dẫn quân sở bộ lách sang cánh tả, công phá sao doanh của quan binh. Cánh hữu Ngoại Quán Hoa là một ngọn núi đầy bụi gai, bên trái là một đầm nước. Quan binh dùng địa thế này đào hào chống cự. Trên núi cánh hữu có đường, nhưng lại không biết thông đến phương nào. Bên đường đầy những bụi gai khó có thể vượt qua. Hơn nữa ngựa lên núi khó khăn, phải từ cánh tả vượt qua đầm nước dài mấy dặm công kích bọc sườn quan binh. Trước mắt là cách nhanh nhất. Hai viên đại tướng lập tức lĩnh mệnh mà đi. Dương Hồ chỉ huy bạch y quân đối xạ cùng quan binh, yểm hộ Dịch Thần Phong công kích, nhưng gã lại không biết khói lửa trên đạo sĩ lĩnh. Căn bản chính là tín hiệu liên lạc do quan binh ước định. Bên ngoài Nam Kinh, nơi nơi đều đã bố phòng. Bất kể gã tiến công từ đường nào, những nơi thích hợp bao vây đều đã sắp đặt tín hiệu khói lửa, tiện cho liên lạc vùng phụ cận. Với khói lửa trên đạo Duy Lĩnh, quan binh biết kỵ binh của Dương Hồ đã chọn tuyến đường này tiến công, nên đã bắt đầu tập kết ở vùng Ngoã Quán Hoa, Cáp Mô Vịnh. Sau non nửa canh giờ, bên trái vang lên tiếng la hét rung trời. Đột nhiên có một đội ngũ đánh ra, tạo thành một phương trận. Từ trong bãi đất trống bên cạnh đầm nước xu quân đánh tới, thương kích như rừng, lại là một trường thương trận, pháp bảo khắc chế kỵ binh. Dương Hồ hoảng hốt vội vàng lãnh binh xông tới. Bạch y quân có thể sống sót giữa những tràng chém giết luân phiên nhau, quả nhiên là anh dũng thiện chiến. Mặc dù trải qua mấy lần hành quan gấp gáp ban đêm và mấy trận chiến đấu kịch liệt, bọn họ vẫn có thể miễn cưỡng ngăn cản được đợt tiến công đột kích của quan binh. Song phương hỗn chiến một hồi, 6-7 thanh trường thương đối phó một con chiến mã. Quan binh nhiều vô số kể kết thành từng tiểu trận 7 người. Tiểu trận lại tạo thành đại phương trận để khỏi bị chiến mã xâm đoạt. Đào tới thương đột, máu tươi tung tóe, chém giết cực kỳ thảm thiết. Dương Hồ đại triển thần uy, đoạt một cây thương trúc dài, cây thương trong tay gã như là dao long ra khỏi nước, che trước chắn sau, đâm trước thọc sau, chém giết một mạch, căn bản không ai có thể ngăn cản. Dương Hồ một thân một mình giết vào trùng vây của quan binh, vung tay vua mạnh, quét mấy thành trường thương ra, sau đó lớn tiếng giống to: "Tên khốn kiếp Lý Dạ Ân kia đâu rồi?" Dù gã có ngu ngốc chăng nữa cũng biết tình hình không ổn. Ban đầu Lý Dạ Ân là một trong 3 thân hào địa phương đầu nhập gã ở Thanh Châu, nhờ có nghệ xuất chúng trở thành một trong ngũ hổ tướng dưới tay gã. 3 thân hào lúc trước đầu nhập mang theo gia đình